We'll be right on.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
And welcome along to Vedic reading. So, if you want, you can check. Wait 1 second. You can check the video. The link for what I'm going to discuss here in the show is actually in the description box. So if you want to follow along, you can. So obviously, the world is in the grips of a lot of bad situations with a lot of things. But the great thing is that today is the 244th birthday of America, which is a great thing. And some of the things we're going to talk about is that there's a lot of research being done and all this good stuff on the fate of an empire, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Again, if you want to follow along, you can actually go to the blog that's created and check it out. We're going to be talking about the total penumbral lunar eclipse, talk a little bit about that. We'll also just talk a little bit about Comet Neowise. That's Comet 2020 F3, also known as Neowise. We're going to talk a little bit, as I said, about the Fate of Empires, written by John Bagot Glub. So, good little bit. And if you go to the actual site, the blog post is a free PDF you can click on, and you can actually read the entire book for free. So I put that up there as well. And then we're just going to look at something that was created back in 1963 in January. It's called the Communist Goals. This is when a lot of the communist nations realized that America was so strong that they had to come up with something. So they came up with 45 goals to destroy America, and without dropping a bomb. And of course they would need agents inside the US that would achieve their goals for them, and they would need them to get into high positions of power and create chaos. And again, it's funny, if you go back and watch the movie, I think it's Back to the Future 3, I think it is, when they were actually getting the DeLorean out of the cave, and that was the 80s, right? And Marty comes around to the dock, and what does he say to him? Everything good is made in Japan. Now, if you think about that, that's less than, let's say it's 85, 10, 20, 30, less than 40 years now. Everything is made in China. And of course, one of the big things that created all that was NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. And these are all very important topics and moments in time that's happening right now, and it's all geared towards a takedown of America. And no matter what people think, if America falls, people will be under communism, they'll be under socialism, and it'll be hell on earth for people. And you know, people with their stupid kneeling on flags on the 4th of July and pumping their fists like dopes, they'll find out very quickly that once communism and socialism achieve their goals, they'll be the first ones executed. They will have run their race. So anyway, of course, you have this guy Saul Alinsky, deep into socialism, communism and all that good stuff, and how to, not good stuff, I don't mean good stuff at all, 8 steps to take down a country and turn it from turn into communism, socialism. This is big and important. These are very important things that's happening right now, because everything that's going on in America is a complete and utter communism, socialist playbook. It's laid out, and and if they achieve it, forget about it. Life as people knew it is gone. And yeah, so we're going to discuss that and kind of go through that.
The very word secrecy is repugnant.
And yeah, hang on for 1 second. There, it should be good there. Yeah, it should be good.
Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long
Alright, so yeah, it should be good to go now. It's just bouncing around all the media sources. Alright, good enough then. Yeah, let's leave on this one. That's good. Just leave it there. Hang on for a second. Okay, so if you want, as I said, if you want to follow along, you can just look at the description of the video. A lot of people are tuning in right now, so I'm just gonna like before I start everything. There's a lot of links on the thing as well. There's a couple of free links as well on the blog post, so you can watch the show straight from the video. Just click on the video. It's the live stream that we're doing here, so if you want to watch it straight from the blog, you can do that. And as I said, I'm going to touch on a couple of things: the fate of empires, the 45 steps to take down a nation, turning from freedom to communism to socialism, and how you would actually go about doing that. And then just take a look at where America is today. It's 244 years old, and they have averaged out that most empires seem to only get to around 250. A lot of them fall before that, a lot of them fall usually around 230. So yeah, see, there's a couple of great videos on there as well. You want to check them out. The Star Spangled Banner, Pledge of Allegiance, what the Star Spangled Banner is all about, and the actual singing of it, and good old Whitney Houston doing her version of it. Very, very good. So we'll get going in 1 second here. Yeah, okay, yeah, we get going. That's good enough. Yeah, I see that, yeah. Just checking the streams right now really quick before we continue. Alright, we're good, yeah. Alright, so as I said, if you want to follow along, you can go follow along on the site. So what's really going on here, right? So we have the penumbral moon, and that's obviously taken off with interesting. For a second, I'm gonna keep it out there. Yep. So as I said, the penumbral moon, some of them call it the invisible moon or a book moon or a lot of different things, you know. And it's going to pass over. If you look at the image on the actual blog post, it's going to pass over the United States, kind of like up and swirl around it, and it's a 1/3 of the Earth will pass through on the 4th and the 5th, the lunar eclipse. You know, some people say you can look to that for some type of omen or something like that, you know. Maybe, but the fact that it's passing through the United States is something to definitely think about or keep an eye on. Yeah, all the fireworks, good stuff. I'm not going to stay on here long. I'm just going to go through this really quick just to like give people an overview of a couple of things. And of course, it's called the penumbral. And as I said on the blog post, you can see the before, the mid eclipse, and how it actually happens with the lunar eclipse geometry. What doesn't get so what happens is it doesn't get in the full shadow of the moon, so that's why it's not called an actual lunar eclipse. It's penumbral. It's in the other shadow, the shadow just off the main shadow. But the weird thing about it is that there's 4 of them this year, which is quite rare. Actually, it is very rare. So looking to the moon as a sign, as you know what's going on. And the other crazy thing is that solar minimum, if you actually go check out the solar cycle 25, still hasn't kicked into gear. And this is information I gave out actually 4 years ago now. I talked about 2020. I said that a lot of things, 2020 will be a big year for the world. A lot of things will start. It's possible we may even have like some disease or virus or something that'll happen because of solar minimum. And the scientists will be caught out because solar cycle 24 and 25 will be very different. And the solar wind will not sweep away cosmic rays. And historically, if you actually go back and look at cosmic rays and the time span and the cycles, you see a lot of uprisings and revolutions, rebellion stuff that happens. But it's all part of it, which is not bad if a country's going to kind of stay where it needs to stay. It's not bad, but if it's trying to turn into socialism, not good, is it? Socialism it never works. Case in point, all you have to do is go study Venezuela. Complete another joke now, right? And of course, you also have what's coming in. Neo-wise, the comet. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, comet Neo-wise, yeah. And that's going to be coming in as well. So, we'll actually take a look at comet Neo-wise. It's going to go perihelion. Well, it's definitely getting brighter now. Wow. So, that's interesting. So it's coming through. It's right beside, just off Capella and Auriga and Taurus, and it's coming in through around the sun towards Mercury. Wow, that's interesting. It's heading from the east to the east-northeast, so that's the direction it's coming from. It's coming from, wow, that's an interesting passage, taking a path from Venus through Taurus, through Mercury, towards the sun. Wow. Well, crazy, huh? Anyway, but that map, the sky map I'm talking about, is up there. So July 5th then, it'll be south of Taurus, not too bad. July 6th, just off Auriga. So, yeah, Comet Neo-wise. So, wow, it's after brightening up a lot. It's visible in the sky as well. It's now a +2 magnitude. Wow, it's unusual to get that bright so close as well. So July 4th and 5th, wow, that's weird. So you have a comet that came out of nowhere. There was a comet called Comet Atlas, there was a comet called Comet Swan. And then you have this comet that just comes out of nowhere, Comet Neo-wise, like one wise wisdom. People need to be wise, and at the same time you have penumbral lunar eclipse on the 4th and 5th. Wow, two signs in the heavens on the 4th and 5th. Hey, that's pretty extraordinary. At the same time, you have the 4th wave of energy coming in as well. It'll arrive on July 10th, and it's a 9-day window. The energy effects will start on July 6th. Wow, that's amazing. Neo-wise, it actually ends on the 6th. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Man, that's amazing here. Anyway, so moving on, I'm going to move into a little bit about the kind of fate of empires. So John Grubb kind of like studied all empires and came out with 7 kind of stages or steps or phases, if you will. So he put the first one as the age of outburst. So Americas would have been the pioneers, the colonies, breaking forth, breaking from England. The age of conquest, getting the land, setting up their territories and all that kind of stuff. The age of commerce, bringing forward a way to actually exchange monetaries and stuff. The age of affluence, moving forward. The age of intellect, the age of decadence, and the age of decline and collapse. So, and if you look around America today, America could be in the age of decline and the collapse. And this is why it's very important that all American patriots understand the kind of cycle that's going on, that they can't change it. They can change it and redirect America, you know. And from there, you have what's called the Communist Goals that were set forward on January 10th, 1963, and I'll go through some of them. For the US, acceptance of coexistence is the only alternative to atomic war. US willingness to capitulate in preference to engaging in atomic war. Develop the illusion that total disarmament by the United States would be a demonstration of moral strength. Permit free trade between all nations regardless of communist affiliation and regardless of whether or not items could be used for war. Isn't that crazy? There's your NAFTA. Extension of long-term loans to Russia and Soviet satellites. Provide American aid to all nations regardless of communist domination. Grant the recognition of Red China. Admission of Red China to the United Nations. And that happened. Remember NAFTA. Remember, these are very important. These are 45 goals that were set out. Set up East and West Germany as separate states in spite of Khrushchev's promise in 1955 to settle the German question by free elections under supervision of the UN. That happened, of course, then the wall came down. Prolong the conference to ban atomic tests because the United States has agreed to suspend tests as long as negotiations are in process. Allow all Soviet satellites individual representation in the UN. Promote the UN as the only hope for mankind. If its charter is rewritten, demand that it be set up. Isn't that amazing? So that's one of the goals, is to break the United States and rewrite the entire United States Constitution, right? Resist any attempt to outlaw the Communist Party. Wow. Do away with all loyalty oaths. Amazing. Is that why they took the Pledge of Allegiance out of American schools? Communist agenda, which is basically socialism. Continue giving Russia access to the US Patent Office. And you can interchange Russia with the word China here. It's all the same. It's all the same bottle. Capture one or both of the political parties. Now this is very important. Again, these goals were set out in January 10th, 1963. Capture one or both of the political parties in the United States. Use technical decisions of the courts to weaken basic American institutions by claiming their activities violate civil rights. Again, this was all put forward in 1963. Get control of the schools. Use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers' associations. Put the party line in textbooks. Gain control of all student newspapers. Use student riots to foment public protests against programs or organizations which are under communist attack. Starting to sound familiar to people now. Infiltrate the press. Get control of book review assignments, editorial writing, policy making positions. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings. Substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. So you know you're under communist attack when they go after statues. This is very, very important. Control art critics and directors of art museums. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech and free press. Break down cultural standards of morality by promoting obscenities in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, and TV. Present homosexuality, degeneracies, and downright craziness as normal, natural, and healthy. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch. Sound familiar? You can't sing in churches. Communist Manifesto. Eliminate prayer or any phase of religious expression in the schools on the ground that it violates the principle of separation of church and state. Again, this was written as the 45 communist goals to destruct America from the inside without dropping a bomb, using communists as a tool. January 10th, 1963. Discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, a hindrance to cooperation between nations on a worldwide basis. Starting to sound familiar, huh? Discredit the American founding fathers. So when you see all these people giving the finger and talking bad about Mount Rushmore, they are a part of communism. They are enemies of the United States. Their goal is to take your freedom. 31. Belittle all forms of American culture and discourage the teaching of American history on the ground that was only a minor part of the big picture. Give more emphasis to China and Russian history since the communists took over. This is so important for people to realize what's truly happening. The trolls of the last 6 years. If the great American patriots allow America to fall, it will fall to communism. And it will fall to socialism. Everything that you've worked for, everything that you have, will be stripped away. You will be a sheep in the slaughter. Support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture, education, social agencies, welfare programs, mental health clinics. Wow. Crazy, huh? Now this is where it gets amazing. Eliminate all laws or procedures which interfere with the operation of the communist apparatus. Wow. Eliminate the House Committee on Un-American Activities. 35. Now listen closely. Discredit and eventually dismantle the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the FBI. Is that what's going on today? Infiltrate and gain control of more unions. More unions. So they already had control of some unions, but they wanted more control. Infiltrate and gain control of big business. Maybe tech businesses. Transfer some of the powers of arrest from the police. Listen to this now. This is number 38. Remember, what's one of the goals you're after me in here in the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks? Defund the police departments. Where does that come from? Somebody just sat down and said, oh, we'll just defund this group that keeps society running. Oh, no. It's a part of the 45 communist goals to destroy America. Transfer some of the powers of arrest from the police to social agencies. Can anybody say Chaz? Huh. Treat all behavioral problems as psychiatric disorders, which no one but psychiatrists can understand or treat. Amazing, huh? So if you don't agree and you speak out and you know what's going on and you're red-pilled on a higher level, only some fool called a psychiatrist can tell you if you're normal or sane. Why? Because it's all part of the 45 communist agenda playbook to take America out without dropping a bomb. And here's where it gets even more interesting now, right? Dominate the psychiatric profession and use mental health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communist goals. So that's what you're fighting against. They didn't drop a bomb. First they infiltrated all the big positions. Then they started putting their manifesto into operation. That's what you have to fight against. You have to stop it. Otherwise, they know that America is in the last 6 years, the fate of empires, it's in that last kind of 6 years of cycle. And the great American people, the great American nation has got to rise to this challenge. There is no, how's your uncle and aunt anymore, Emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents. Attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and retarding of children to suppressive influence of parents. So they want the state to own your children and to dictate how your children are raised. Create the impression that violence and insurrection are legitimate aspects of the American tradition. That students and social interest groups should rise up and use united force to solve economic, political, or social problems. Is that where their closed fist comes from? Business. Overthrow all colonial governments before native populations are ready for self-government. Internationalize the Panama Canal. Repeal the colony reservation so the United States cannot prevent the World Court from seizing jurisdiction over domestic problems. Give the world court jurisdiction over nations and individuals alike. So, I mean, think about that. Think about how they've implemented those 44 goals. They know they're close to doing it now, right? And some people may or may not be aware of an individual called Saul Alinsky. And of course, he set out, he broke communism down, socialism down, where basically, if you breathe, you're taxed. If you look at the sky, you're taxed. They owned everything. You wake up in the morning, you put your shoes on, you're taxed. So they sit back and feed off your energy, right? So what did he come up with? Well, he came up with a kind of the stages of how to do it. The most important part is healthcare. Control the healthcare and you control the people. Healthcare. Currently the world is what? Under this fake scandemic cloud of what? All out from the hill. Fake. Absolute fake. Right? But what is that? That's a communist agenda. Control the healthcare. If you can control the healthcare, you can control the people. Right? Poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Close all the businesses. Tell people they can't go to work. Poor people are easy to control and will not fight back if you provide everything for them to live. Everything for them to live. Debt. Increase the debt level to an unsustainable level. That way you're able to increase taxes and this will produce more poverty. And how do you do that? That's right, you have a fake pandemic and close all the businesses. Yeah. Number 4, gun control. Remove the ability to defend themselves from government. That way you are able to create a police state. Number 5, welfare. Take control of every aspect, food, housing, income of their lives, because that will make them fully dependent on the government. Education. Take control of what people read and listen to, and take control of what children learn in school. Wow, is that Common Core? Wait, so you have Stickman Care and Common Core. Wow. Religion. Remove belief in God from the government and schools, because the people need to believe in only the government, knowing what is best for the people. So the people are so stupid and so dumb that only the government can tell you how to live. Yeah. And now here we go. Class warfare. Divide the people into the wealthy and the poor. Eliminate the middle class. See that? Constantly eliminate the middle class. Is that what's happening in America today? I wonder. Right? This will cause more discontent and it will be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. Yeah. All your silly debates, right? Tax the wealthy more, tax the wealthy more, right? How do you get rid of the middle class? Yeah. Have a fake pandemic and close all the businesses. That's right, yeah. Yeah. It should be clear to all how our nation is well on its way to winning its race to the bottom. Wow. So this is another very important thing on the blog there. If you read there, from freedom to communism / socialism, right? Laying the groundwork through the cultivation of ignorance. So keeping the people ignorant, ostriches, keep their head in the sand. They don't really know what's going on because the government or the TV didn't tell them how to think today. They didn't tell them how to eat, what to eat, how to eat, how to breathe. If they didn't tell them that, how would they do it? Propaganda. Right? Anyone that figures it all out. Label them as dissenters, rebellions. They don't care, they're out to harm you. Huh? Agitating the masses, rile up the people, get one group against the other. Where you sit back and laugh at them, tear themselves apart. Consolidating control over society's institutions. Sound familiar? Colleges, universities, schools, kindergartens. Society's institutions. Coercing conformity. Right? You better wear that mask. You better keep that mask on. And of course, to find solutions is complete and utter destruction, right? So there was an individual that was in the US, of course, fake bear cert, Kenyan guy, wasn't even real, Muslim, Kenyan guy, whatever you want to call him, I don't care what you call him, to be honest. His one goal was to destroy America from the inside out. They got a man, or an individual if you will, into the highest office in the land to destroy America. And I tell you, the world better wake up, because this, if it can happen in America, it can happen in any country. Any country. You can be taken over from the inside out. You won't even see it coming. Before you know it, you'll be a sheep being led to the slaughter. And if you don't conform, sheepies, baba, right? So let's take a quick look again at Saul Alinsky's doctrine to topple a nation and create a socialist state. Healthcare. Control the healthcare and you control the people. Poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easy to control and will not fight back if you are providing everything for them to live. Debt. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way you're able to increase taxes and this will produce more poverty. Gun control. Remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. That way you're able to create a police state. Welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives. Food, housing and income. Education. Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in schools. Religion. Remove the belief in the God from the government and schools. Sound familiar? Class warfare. Divide the people into the wealthy and the poor. This will cause more discontent and it will be easier to take tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. And of course, where do we find all this? That's right, hashtag Obamagate. That traitor wasn't not even American, traitor. And all those that support that traitor that helped him get into office, traitor in Chicago, not even a real American. So what did he do? Number 1, check. Number 2, check. Number 3, check. Number 4, check. Number 5, check. Number 6, check. Number 7, check. Number 8, check. So obviously the communists or the commie-crats are trying to hang on to the socialist Obamacare by any means necessary now, or hashtag Obamagate, right? So they were 8 years away from cementing America as a communist socialist country and taking away every single right you have. They're trying to do it now with more violent outcomes because their time is running short. So something of massive, something very big and of a divine nature stepped in 2016 and stopped this destruction of America. But now it's time for the people to really understand what's going on, you know. So I'm going to sum up the show a little bit now. I'm going to do a summary of John Glubb's from his book and stuff. Again, there's a free PDF on the blog. I'm going to go read it. Very interesting. And So he does a summarize. He summarizes his own fate of empires, right? As numerous points of interest have arisen in the course of this essay, I close with a brief summary to refresh the reader's mind. We do not learn from history because our studies are brief and prejudiced. In a surprising manner, 250 years emerges as the average length of national greatness. 250 years. America has 6 years left. July 4th, 2026. The people must choose. Will they allow this agenda of communism, socialism to destroy America, the greatest country to be ever risen on the planet Earth? Or will they realise what's happening? And anybody that's putting out kneeling on flags and burning the American flag and disrespecting the national anthem, they must be now identified as enemies of the US. That's what you're dealing with. They have bought into the propaganda and the mind scope craziness in their heads. They are lost in the wind. This average has not varied for 3,000 years. Does it represent 10 generations? So for 3,000 years, based on John Glubb, he's found that 250 years emerges as the average length of the national greatness. So 250 years, right? Of course, they are trying to move everything to one world system, but you have to remember the Tower of Babel. When they wanted one language, what did the heavens do? Poof, separated everybody. Everybody should be on the planet with different ways to have freedom, movement, learn different cultures, always seeing different things instead of just one language, one government, one religion, one currency. It's too boring. The stages of the rise and fall of great nations seem to be the age of pioneers, the age of conquest, the age of commerce, the age of affluence, the age of intellect, and the age of decadence. Decadence is marked by defensiveness, pessimism, materialism, virology, an influx of foreigners, the welfare state, a weakening of religion. Decadence is due to too long a period of wealth and power, selfishness, love of money, the loss of a sense of duty. Amazing. The life histories of great states are amazingly similar and are due to internal factors. Their falls are diverse because they are largely the result of external causes. So the American Great Constitution Declaration of Independence stands alone on its own. What's the external cause? Communism, socialism, trying to come in and take it down. History should be taught as the history of the human race, though of course with emphasis on the history of the student's own country. Right? So I just want to do a quick show people kind of where things are. There's a lot of indications now. There is a thing called the 3 timeline, and if people want to understand, I'll probably do more on that soon, about what's coming and what's happening and everything that's going on, the splitting of everything that's happening right now. People being put into the timeline 1, timeline 2, and timeline 3 is coming. Timeline 3 can't be stopped. It just depends whether the dweller or the destroyer comes. It depends on the vibration of the planet when timeline 3 arrives. Whether the great people of America have chosen timeline 2, or they've allowed communism, socialism, and the destruction to take on timeline 1. And the people of the world, this measures the people of the world. You better wake up. You better get your head out of the sand, ostrich heads. You better pay attention, because there's an agenda, and it is not good. It is not a good agenda. Timeline 1 will be hell on earth for people. Timeline 2 allows for freedom, movement, the world to go back the way it was. May not go exactly back, but it will definitely go back to freedom. and timeline 3 will arrive then. So I think that's it for. I think that's good enough for tonight. I hope everybody maybe replays it back and has a listen, and everybody should enjoy the great things about the United States of America. It was risen from the ashes, and it will rise again, and it will continue to rise. And these enemies of America, you are fools. You are fools. You are on a fool's errand. America will change and it will adapt. And I understand that you have all your agendas put forward to take it down, but you tried, didn't work. So with that,
society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.